Clashes on UW-Madison's campus this past week, and some turning violent nationwide. Tensions reaching a tipping point Wednesday morning in Madison. Police swarming an encampment of pro-Palestinian protesters who took over Library Mall. 34 people detained, 4 booked into jail, 8 officers hurt.
Camping is banned on campus grounds. Despite that, just hours after police removed the tents Wednesday, they were back up. Jay Rothman is the Universities of Wisconsin system president. He joins us now in studio. Jay, thanks so much for your time and being here.
Absolutely. Good to be with you today.
Before looking forward, let's first talk about Wednesday and the images we saw out of Madison. Is that how that all was supposed to go down?
I mean, I think we need to step back just a little bit. I mean, the Universities of Wisconsin, one of our hallmarks is to allow for freedom of expression and really encourage freedom of expression on our campuses. That's what we have done forever. That's an important part of who we are. But we have to distinguish that from illegal activity. And the encampments are in violation of law. And I think what happened on Wednesday morning was basically what we would have expected. The police arrived. They were authorized by the chancellor. I supported her in that decision. The police arrived. The protesters were given warning that they needed to leave, and a number of them did. When they didn't leave, the police moved in methodically with very limited force at the end of the day to remove the encampments. But to the extent that there was clashes, it was instigated by the protesters.
You said it was instigated by the protesters. You believe that?
Well, certainly the police moved in. They did their jobs. And to the extent that there was confrontation, it was something that the protesters instigated at the end of the day.
Did you sign off on that as well as the chancellor ahead of time?
The chancellor had. I was advised that this was going on. The chancellor and I have stayed in close consultation with each other, so I knew what was happening. But it was ultimately Jennifer Mnuchin's decision, but I support and stand by that decision.
And you still have confidence in her today as chancellor?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You say the encampment is a violation of law. The tents are back up on campus. Why did the administration, why did police allow that?
I mean, I think there are limited enforcement abilities to stop that from happening. You can't have that kind of presence. It requires mutual aid. The State Patrol was there. Madison Police were there. The University Police were there, as was Dane County was there. You can't maintain that forever, but those encampments are illegal. They are in violation, and quite frankly, there are good reasons for that. I mean, there are no sanitary facilities there. We have students and other protesters staying overnight in populated areas. There is a health and safety issue, and our ultimate goal is to ensure that our students are safe. Having those kind of encampments, you know, as your mother told you, nothing good happens after midnight, right? So I think we really are concerned about the safety issue, and the encampments ultimately will be gone.
So what is the tipping point that would make you make the decision to move back in to clear out the encampments like what we saw on Wednesday? You
know, I'm not going to speculate as to when that will occur and how those resolutions will come to pass. But, you know, the encampments are illegal, and ultimately they will be gone.
Can you give us some insight into why we're seeing such drastically different responses, what seem to be drastically different responses from what's happening in Madison to a similar encampment in Milwaukee where nothing has happened, yet we're under the same system?
Yeah, I think we have to look at each university as unique. Those decisions are given to the chancellors as to how to take action on their campuses. I think both Chancellor Mone and Chancellor Mnuchin at Milwaukee and Madison respectfully understand the illegality. I think they are concerned about the health and safety of their students in those encampments. And as I say, the encampments are illegal, and eventually they will be gone.
There are a list of 6 demands in Madison that the protesters have said they're going to stay out there until they're met. They include disclosing UW Foundation investments and, quote, get cops off campus. Is there any scenario where you would support any of those demands from the protesters?
You know, I think getting cops off of campus, no. I mean, that's ludicrous. The university police do a terrific job in ensuring the safety of our students. They're absolutely essential. I mean, so I think that one is absolutely a non-starter. I think the issues about the divestment issue generally is a red herring. I mean, the issues that are being protested are ones of foreign policy, not of university investment. So I just view that as a red herring.
I'm curious how much political pressure you personally have faced this past week.
You know, I really haven't. I mean, my focus is we have to do what's in the best interest of the Universities of Wisconsin. I want to be supportive of our chancellors who are, you know, these are difficult These are difficult positions to be in. They are challenging positions to be in. I want to be supportive of our chancellors as we work to resolve this.
I'm assuming you received some phone calls, perhaps?
You are always there. The people are expressing their views, and
Yeah.
that's what happens in a free society, and that's a good thing.
We saw this past week a report of a person displaying a Hail Hitler salute to a group of Jewish students. Are Jewish students safe on UW campuses right now?
You know, I believe they're safe, but you know, let's look at this personally. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, if you know, having a student there, that you'd be worried about that. I mean, you know, you got to take it down to the personal level, and we want to encourage civil dialogue. We want to encourage freedom of expression, but personal attacks, personalizing this, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. And I feel for our students that are having to go through any of those kind of personal attacks. That's just wrong.
In the coming days, it appears you have not ruled out bringing police back.
I think, you know, every option has to be on the table. I mean, at the end of the day, the encampments are there illegally, and they need to come down.
Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman. Jay, thank you so much for your time and perspective.
Thanks. It's great to be with you.
Up next, Green Bay on the clock. The 2025 NFL Draft coming to Titletown with hundreds of thousands of spectators expected. Now the pressure's on. The group just back from Detroit joins us with their takeaways next.